me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what they at you, eat no at you. Covid money, me say we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste no must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got in a figure you. Take this spit of money, God and say that is not you. One day the man above him up, him a got a too much it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me,
300% free.
it burn me,
Garbage pile of the day.
it burn me,
Give the teacher them
it
raise.
burn me,
I see corruption
it
please.
burn me,
Mash down the people them house.
it burn me,
Every day appear arms out.
it burn me,
Appear money them a thief.
it burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them smell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me,
Or they treat the market man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the cat man.
it burn me,
Or they treat the peanut man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the jerk man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the soul man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat policeman.
it burn me,
How them a treat soldier man.
it burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
If you haven't got your own Netflix account, then tuning in to Jamaica would be your very own free Netflix account. It's almost like a thriller. Murder in cold blood by her husband. A speech written cold-heartedly, read by the mother. Is it not the arrest of Julian Silvera? A bit too late, but not too little in the pursuit of justice? Does Mark Golding now knows that he is under a duty to speak to the public, those who he seeks to vote for him? It is also the march this morning, the call to action by the Diaspora Intervention Team. Good morning and welcome to Global Television. This is a special coverage. I hope you all can hear me this morning As we all know across our country, Julian Silvera this morning has been arrested for the murder of his wife. Will Julian Silvera be charged? If he is, what will be the charges? Murder, concealment, conspiracy? Julian is arrested for the murder, but who will be arrested in the cover-up, the investigation of the cover-up? Is it now pointing clear to us that JCF officer who first visited the scene may have involved in a cover-up? This morning, good morning to those on the Twitch, those on X, on Facebook, on YouTube. Good morning and welcome. I apologize to my viewers on TikTok if anyone from TikTok is here. I am not broadcasting on TikTok this morning. I'm just on the other 4 platforms. But yes, good morning and welcome to our special coverage. Later on today, we will go over to our North American correspondent to give you a view of what's going on the ground. But before I do so, I will do my usual hello to those who are in the chat room at the moment. So let me go from top. Good morning to Natalia Freeman. Good morning. Good morning to Jason Kane. Good morning and welcome. VM, good morning. Amazing Grace, good morning. Cousin Jamie Too Cool, good morning. Good morning and welcome. Prof. Gorgeous Lady, good morning and welcome. Patricia Matthews, good morning. Good morning and welcome. Sunshine, good morning. Mr. British, good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Good morning to Lilith Foster. Good morning and welcome. Good morning to Raymond. Good morning to Jamaican Foodie. Good morning to Sophia. Bell Henry. Good morning to Wendy Brewster. Good morning to who else is here? But for those of you who are all on the live this morning and in the chat, good morning. Overcomer, you are on Facebook. Welcome as always. Good morning. Thanks for having you. Does Mark Golden realize he is now under a duty to provide us some clarity? Does Mark Golden understand how this looks for Mark Golden credibility going into an election? Does Mark Golden also knows how it looks on his credibility going into an election, knowing who the illicit six are, can use his parliamentary privilege to expose our question, and he's refusing to do so? Jamaica Politics Uncover, good morning, and welcome. Julian Silvera has finally been arrested, but we still have to keep our eyes quite close on it. Will he be charged? What will be the charges? Will Madam DPP say there's not enough charges to prosecute? And even if Madam DPP takes a prosecution forward, will a judge throw the case out to say there's not enough evidence to pursue a trial to secure a conviction? Sunshine, morning. So there's a lot to still keep in focus. But who else is involved in the cover-up? Who will be arrested for the cover-up? We know Fitz Bailey is investigating. Fitz Bailey is investigating, as he told us, whether the police initially visited the scene, failed to do whatever they were meant to do. But Fitz Bailey, the procedure alone, where an incident like that, one officer shouldn't have attended. One officer shouldn't have attended. Who was the doctor who signed off? If there was a doctor who signed off and Mrs. Silvera's body leaving the crime scene, who was that doctor? Is it any doctor from the People's National Party? If there was a doctor who signed off on the removal of Mrs. Silvera's body from the crime scene, who was that doctor? There's still an awful lot of questions to ask, because immediately Mr. Silvera went straight into a concealment after the murder. A string of cover-ups. A string of cover-ups followed the concealment. That wouldn't lead anyone to believe that until the pathologist exposed the cover-up, Mr. Silvera was the only person. Convince us, Fitzbailey, that Mr. Silvera, before the pathologist told us it was a murder, inform us if there was anyone else aiding Mr. Silvera in the cover-up, or it was just Mr. Silvera only involved in the covering up of the killing of his wife, which he's now arrested for. But will Mr. Silvera be charged? Will Mr. Silvera be charged? I just want to go back to a few clips for you.
Father, like he tends and spares us, when our feeble frame he knew. Time and space, hallelujah, hallelujah, praise with us the God of grace.
Several lines of inquiry were drawn during the investigative process, and having satisfied ourselves that there is sufficient evidence to mount a viable prosecution, as a consequence, consultation was made with the offices of the Director of Public Prosecution, who concur with our findings. Jordan Silvera, the husband of the deceased, Mrs. Melissa Silvera, has been taken into custody as a suspect in this case. This significant development is a testament to the dedication of the JCF in serving the public and upholding the principles of being a force for good. The JCF remains resolute in its commitment to transparency, justice, and public safety. We understand the concerns of the public, and this update is provided to assure that our work is ongoing and focused on seeking the truth.
And the countless lives you touched. And as is written by Aristotle, he said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This was Melissa.
Prior to last week, the disgraceful spectacle we saw at Melissa Silvera's funeral, I'm under no doubt that before then, Fitz Bailey and Paula Llewellyn have enough evidence to arrest Julian Silvera on suspicion of murder, pending further inquiries. That would have prevented the disgraceful spectacle we saw. Was Julian Silvera given special treatment as a former member of parliament to visit the funeral of the woman, his wife, the mother of his children, who he murdered, to sit next to the children in church, who he has and will scar for life, emotionally and psychologically, mentally also. Just by knowing that their dad, who killed their mom, sat next to them in church at funeral, but not only that, asked his mother to read a speech that was written cold-heartedly. What a disgrace we have become. Beat and Teach, good morning. Good morning and welcome. We are still awaiting Miranda. Miranda, good morning. Good morning, Sophie. Good morning, Nicola. Good morning and welcome to everyone who is here. Sharon Powell, good morning. Good morning. Rochelle, good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Hang them, Bobby Montague says. Hang 14 to 17-year-old if they commit murder, Bobby Montague said. Bobby Montague is a friend of Silvera. It is said Bobby Montague was one of the very first to send his condolences and inform us that Mrs. Silvera died in her sleep with Julian next to her side. Those were Bobby Montague's words. It is also said that Bobby Montague is the one who retained the services of Peter Champagne for Julian Silvera, the big and good for nothing, big source or so. Bobby Montague said in Parliament we should hang 14 to 17-year-old if they commit a crime. Because the taxpayers shouldn't be paying to investigate cases, prosecute them, and look after them in prison. Those were Bobby Montague's words, not mine. If it is the case where Bobby Montague is funding Julian Silvera's legal fee, and if we're following Bobby Montague's logic, not just to save the taxpayers' money, but in order to save Bobby Montague some money. Head teacher K, good morning, good morning. In order to save Bobby Montague some money, what should we do with Julian Silvera? Because Bobby Montague says we should hang 14 to 17-year-olds who commit murder. What should we do this morning? Peter Champagne told us his client is not a suspect, and we should not speculate. We should not speculate. Peter Champagne told us his client is not a suspect. He's not been treated as a suspect, and we should not speculate. But were we wrong to speculate Peter Champagne? Because he knew he killed his wife. We knew he killed his wife. All the circumstantial evidence were pointing in that direction and nowhere else. But how long will it take Mark Golden to realize he is under a duty to speak to the electorate? How long will it take Mark Golden to realize he is under a duty to speak to the electorate? Because I'm sure Nesta Morgan and the others would want to use that photo on screen to PR blast you going into a local or a general election. But just to prepare you, Mark Golden, because I'm on no side of either of you, because both of you are covering up murderers and protecting murderers, because it's the same thing with Holness and Patrick Bailey murder, and the same thing with you and Julian Silvera. So just remember, so you have that for pull out of your pocket when them pull out for them, because the whole are now criminal. But carefully remind him, all are we a criminal and criminal protector, because may I protect Julian. This photograph on screen, and on a long time photograph when Julian was an MP. This was a very recent photograph. Donna Ellis, good morning. BCA Stimits, good morning and welcome. This is a recent photograph of Mark Golden and Julian Silvera. It is said that Julian Silvera is Mark Golden's head of security. If that is the case, then Mark Golden is under a duty to inform the public and also publicly distance himself from Silvera. Also distance himself from Silvera. We understand Paulwell's situation, Oliver, to be quite much different from what it is. The evidence that unfolded in the Paulwell situation is quite much different from what we're seeing now. And as far as I'm looking at it, I didn't see, even if there was an attempt to cover up that murder, I didn't see that type of behavior in public. Let us stick to the matter at hand. We're talking about the issue surrounding Julian Silvera and the murder of his wife and his connection to Mark Golden, and what is Mark Golden's duty to the electorate. Let's stick to that. One second, please. We can't type and talking to me a fool. What is Mark Golden's duty to the electorate? What is Mark Golden's duty to the electorate? If he's asking us to put our trust in him and give him the reins of our country, give them the country to run at the local government level. Give Mark Golden the country to run at the central government level. If Mark Golden wants us to believe that he has the credibility to lead our country, then at least start practicing some honesty to us. Start practicing some honesty to the electorate. If you want them to make sure, put you in charge of our country. But if we have a man who is closely tied to an ex-MP of the party he leads, an MP that was quite close to him and always around him prior to the murder of his wife, of course Mark Golden is under duty to give an explanation to the public what the working relationship with Silvera and Mark Golden, or the social relationship between Silvera and Mark Golden. It is important. He's our public servant. He wants to run the next government. So Mark Golden should start practice honesty and integrity in dealing with the voters from now. This is quite a simple issue where Mark Golden has been asked by several people, several different groups, several different bloggers, publicly disassociate yourself from Julian Silvera while all of this is going on. And to date, Mark Golden hasn't given a clarifying statement in public. But this time, Mark Golden, what should not be accepted from you is a botched up statement by Dr. Campbell, Angela Brown, Burke, and Tara Playfair. What you should do is go in front of the camera and speak to the nation. That is what Mark Golden should do. If Mark Golden have any respect and decency for the electorate and want the electorate to trust him, then Mark Golden is under duty to go in front of the camera. Bina, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome. Good morning and welcome. Mark Golden is under duty to explain to the public. Mark Golden has been told repeatedly, this is going to come back to bite you coming the election. And Mark Golden still thinks he can silence the thing out. But we shouldn't let Mark Golden get away with this. We shouldn't let Mark Golden get away with this, because it's the fact that we let Andrew and all his predecessors got away with so much that we are in the pickle that we are in today. Will Paula make sure justice is served to the spirit of Melissa Silvera and her children? Will Paula Llewellyn make sure justice is being served? Because there is still time for the corruption to wave its ugly head. They can still draw the scan as far as they can make it down the road. Sandra Ellis, good morning and welcome. They can draw the scan as far as they can make it down the road with it. Because look at the error, I keep calling this boy this name. Look at the Noel Maitland situation. How morning, Parkins, morning and welcome. Look at how since 2022 the Donnelly Donaldson can has been kicked down the road. Is this something we're going to see from Paula Llewellyn and member of the judiciary and Peter Champagne, a role play back and forth in the court to give Silvera time? Did Silvera sleep in cell last night, Fitzbailey? And by this evening, I think Silvera was arrested sometime just before at the end of business Jamaica time yesterday. So by later on Jamaica time, by about 5-6 Jamaica time, you would have the 24-hour slot. John Brown, good morning. You would have the 24-hour period in which you will have to, I think, 24-hour period where you will have to lay charges on Julian Silvera. We are waiting for that update to see what are the charges against Julian Silvera. Because the charge against Julian Silvera cannot be just murder. No, that wouldn't be enough. There have to be some charges of conspiracy and of all different sorts, concealment, conspiracy, and all sorts. So we are awaiting further update from Fitzbailey to see what the charges are. We're also keeping our eye on the dancing through the legal system role play as we see them doing at the moment with the Donnelly Donaldson case. But our country has become an open Netflix where you don't really need an account. All you have to do is just pay attention to the horror and the thriller movies that really comes out of our country. Good morning, Carla Williams. Good morning. So Mark Golden shouldn't think that he doesn't need to speak to the nation on this matter. Mark Golden is required to speak to the nation on this matter. He must do that. He's looking for the country's trust. And this doesn't show trust or respect to the electorate, or this doesn't show integrity of Mark Golden to have not answered the call of the people for weeks now to give a clarifying statement of the position of Mark Golden and Silvera, or publicly distance yourself from Julian Silvera. but he treated us with silence. Now that Julian Silvera is arrested for the murder of Melissa Silvera, the murder was not the only crime committed throughout the whole thriller. There was concealment immediately following the murder. Julian Silvera went on to conceal the crime. A litany of cover-up followed the concealment of the crime. Who else is involved? Who has Fitzbailey questioned? Is Fitzbailey following a line of inquiry with regard to the cover-up of the crime of Melissa Silvera? It cannot be that Mr. Silvera is the only one who is involved in the cover-up of the crime before the pathologist told us no, not so. Be warned, Mark Golden, there's an election coming. The People's National Party don't trust you already. And if you're showing blatantly to the nation in this, that Mark Golden is no different to the rest of them. Morning, Flo, good morning. What this is showing us, Mark Golden, what this is showing us, coming from Mark Golden, is that Mark Golden doesn't really respect us, nor respect our opinions. Because political PR would tell you, playing the political PR for a while, that alone would tell you the ties to him around me and a local election coming up. This could be terrible PR for me going into an election, local or general. Nobody around Mark Golden or nobody around him saw how dangerous of a PR this is for his publicity going into an election. But Mark Golden think we're rather from uptown. Mark Golden rather think we're members of the JCF or members of the political class who is going to sit by silently, even in church and members of the clergy, Serrano Kitson and the rest of them, who couldn't use the word justice at Melissa's funeral because nobody wanted to offend Julian Silvera. Nobody wanted to offend Julian Silvera. So no one couldn't even use the word justice at Melissa's funeral in a church. This is the country we live in, we love, and some of us in the diaspora want to go back to. Essin Butcher, good afternoon and welcome. No, you're mistaking me, Butcher. I'm not saying Mark lived with them and Mark knows what happened. Let's just look at the political PR, the public relation, what my opponent can use to attack me going into an election, what my opponent can use to attack me to weaken my credibility in public. Let's leave it at that. Let's look at it just around that. That alone should tell Mark Golden and his team to make a sensible move by distancing themselves from Julian Silvera, so that Nestor Morgan and the others cannot use it to blast or destroy them and the campaign coming up. Just look at it on the PR side. It is not a good look. But if you don't want to look at it on the PR side, look at it on the human side. Everything circumstantially was pointing in the direction of Mr. Silvera. Nothing was pointing anywhere else that somebody else may have committed the murder. That alone, Butcher, is enough. Angela, hello, how are you? That alone is enough for Mark Golden to make a sensible PR decision to distance himself from Julian Silvera. It's not about saying Mark Golden should give direction for Silvera to get charged, or Mark Golden should come out here and tell us what happened that night. No, that's not what we're asking for. Mark Golden was one of the first person to put out a public condolence to Julian Silvera, one of the first politicians to do that. And the narrative Mark Golden was given to put out, Butcher, is that Melissa died peacefully in her sleep. Mark Golden is yet to correct that information. Julian Silvera was arrested yesterday. Is Mark Golden going to correct the information he gave us in public that Melissa died peacefully in her sleep? Is Mark Golden going to come to the public and say, I was lied to or I was misled? He has to say something. Otherwise, he doesn't have credibility. And I would never encourage anyone to vote for, just like I wouldn't encourage them to vote for Andrew Holness. If Mark Golden can't show respect to us, what's the point of encouraging anybody? Vote for Mark Golden for a change, or vote for Mark Golden to get rid of Andrew Holness. Oh my God, the Club of the Mayor from Toronto, I have not had it prepared. But what I'm going to do, when Debbie Jervis joins the studio, I will have time, I think, to prepare it. But me think me the dunce with number, but the number the mayor the done Saddam. But but yes, I never start it out for later. I forgot to do that. But yes, Mark Golden is under duty. Otherwise, this will hang him at the ballot box. Saying all these things to Mark Golden is not attacking Mark Golden. Mark Golden has been asked by a lot of us several times, make that statement, make that clarifying statement, because we know the game of politics. They also know the game of politics. As to why, if they don't want to play the human game, let's play the game of politics. They know that it is something that can be used against them successfully to sway people's mind when it comes to believability and integrity. So if you can't make the human decision, then they should then be in the position to make a sensible political PR decision, which in this case, Mark Golden made none of them. Mark Golden made none, neither the human decision nor the political PR decision to distance himself from Julian Silvera, while they're under investigation. So if he thinks he doesn't have a duty to speak to the nation, to give clarification to the nation, then we don't have a duty to shut up and give Mark Golden any leeway in the election. He will be put on blast as much as Andrew Holness will be, because Mark Golden is playing the same dirty game. Mark Golden know who the illicit six are. Mark Golden doesn't have to call for Andrew Holness to release the illicit six. Mark Golden himself can use parliamentary privilege to do that. So Mark Golden is playing games with us as much as Andrew Holness is playing games with us. And if he wants to call out Andrew Holness, then how can you be calling him out on credibility when you are playing the same game with the electorate? You're yet to distance yourself from Silvera. You can tell us who they are, the illicit six are, and you're playing a game by not doing so, using what is at your disposal to do so. One can also leak the list. Is there someone on the list that Mark Golden is protecting? If Mark Golden is not protecting anyone on the list, or if no one is on the list that will hurt Mark Golden's political chances, what is Mark Golden afraid of? Mark Golden said, by not releasing the list, is showing that they have something to hide. What do you have to hide, Mark Golden? What does Mark Golden have to hide? Because Mark Golden know who the illicit six are. Mark Golden can leak the list to journalists. Mark Golden can leak the list to journalists. Mark Golden can use his parliamentary privilege to expose who they are in Parliament or question by asking particular questions of the illicit six in Parliament. And Mark Golden is refusing to do so. Is there really a difference? Is there really a difference between Andrew Holness and Mark Golden? Is there really a difference between Andrew Holness and Mark Golden? Is it the reason of friendship? Is friendship the reason why Mark Golden is so silent? Is Mark Golden too friendly? Is Mark Golden too friendly to Holness to even carry out his duties he ought to be as the leader of the opposition, someone who should be a government waiting, someone who should be a government in waiting to take over the reins of our country. Global TV will take a break and we will return shortly after the break. Bear with us.
Yeah, well, it is I, Bad Bass Alice here, representing on behalf of Dancehall, station of all time, Global TV, Brothers of all time, Alice in a rep, yeah, General of all time. Master, when me say you, but the people, them love you bad, fully informative, salute, like they have to live.
I personally know a lot of the people around Mark Golden doesn't trust Mark Golden. They think Mark Golden is a capitalist in disguise. They think Mark Golden is a capitalist in disguise. Could all these people who are saying Mark Golden, people like Karen Cross, Michelle Stern and Sonny Days from the resistance movement and others, isn't this showing us in public that when these people are saying to us, Mark Golden cannot be trusted, Mark Golden is no different to Andrew Holness, isn't Mark Golden now not showing us in public that no, these people are not mischievous? It's not that they don't like you. They're just speaking the plain, simple truth. Based on the behavior we're seeing from Mark Golden now, where he's not showing any respect at all for the electorate, no respect for the electorate, doesn't think he has a duty to answer the question of voters, doesn't think he has a duty to give us clarity to what turned out to be misinformation as he passed it on to us then, that Mrs. Silvera died peacefully in her sleep next to her husband. And if he doesn't think he's under duty to speak to us, then how different is Mark Golden from Andrew Holness? How different is Mark Golden from Andrew Holness? Is it the time for us to say, better the devil you know? Is this the time for Jamaica to say, better the devil you know? Do you respect the silence coming from Mark Golden? Do you respect the turn eye one side coming from Mark Golden? Are you happy to vote for a leader who treats you with absolute silence and disrespect and disregard? Are you happy to vote for a man who willfully treats the electorate with disregard? Better the devil you know. Is this scenario applying in this situation? Better the devil you know. should you really think that we're going to have better under a Mark Golden regime than we're currently having now under a crooked, corrupt, Andrew Holness regime? Who is Julian Silvera to Mark Golden? What's the working relationship between Mark Golden and Julian Silvera? No beat and teach. Me nah campaign for Andrew. Hell no. You should know I'm terribly upset with Mark Golden. It was a reason why I keep asking Mark Golden to do that. Not only me. We know how these things go politically. Andrew now go get away after something there. Patrick Bailey killing or Dr. Orwell Moore killing, because Dr. Orwell Moore killing was a state assassination. And the buck in Dr. Orwell, in Reverend Orwell Moore's killing, stop with Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, if we do believe, and which all the evidence point to, that Alvin Bailey gave us, Bishop Alvin Bailey gave us from the pathology report and from the scene of crime report. The buck stopped with Andrew. So Andrew Holness is responsible for the assassination. Andrew Holness is responsible for the assassination of Reverend Alvin Moore. Every evidence points that Alvin Moore was assassinated. The buck stopped with the Prime Minister of the country. The argument that for Reverend Alvin Moore's car to have ended up where it has, an helicopter would have been involved, which would further suggest that it could be or might have been members of the JDF or a JDF helicopter that would have carried out that. The buck stopped with Andrew Holness. If the state is involved in the assassination, the buck stopped with Andrew Holness. So don't think Andrew Holness have a free card over here, or Andrew Holness is going to get away with anything over here. Andrew Holness have 2 murders under his belt. He has the cover-up of the of Jermaine Jr.'s murder, which his lawyer did. And he has the cover-up of the state assassination of Reverend Orville Moore. So there's no free card over here. But we're dealing with Golden this morning. Golden has a lot of opportunity. Golden beat and teach has a lot of opportunity to do well. Golden has a lot of opportunity to take the heat off him. Do you think now if Golden comes out with a statement, it will be enough or it will be little way too late? What do you think? If now that Silvera is arrested, he cannot dodge around it. He cannot dodge around and say Silvera is not a suspect. We're not asking Mark Golden to be the judge and jury. We're just asking for a sensible PR answer. He's under duty to give a public relation answer. Otherwise, being the leader of the opposition is not really a role that he should be in. There doesn't seem to be much sensible. There doesn't seem to be much sensible. There doesn't seem to be much sensible people around Mark Golden. Or either he doesn't take advice well, or they think the silence, they can stay out the silence. Nothing was pointing anywhere else. Nothing was pointing anywhere else. Everything was pointing in Mr. Silvera's direction. Everything was pointing in Mr. Silvera's direction. Nothing was pointing anywhere else. So that alone should have told Mark Golden that speaking to the nation, give a clarifying position to the nation. Is he my security or not? In what way I'm associated to him? Because he's been regularly seen with me in public of recent. He's been recently seen with me in public of recent. So what is the clarifying position? Does Silvera work for Mark Golden? Is Silvera a friend of Mark Golden? Is Silvera the head of security for Mark Golden? Is Mark Golden assisting Silvera financially in any way since the death of his wife? All of these are important. All of those are important because Mark Golden wants to be the next leader of our country. Mark Golden wants to be the next leader of our country. So it is important. Where did I put my pen? Sorry. It is important for Mark Golden to start answering our questions from now. Is this the way you would want Mark Golden to go silence on you? To go in absolute silence on you when he becomes your prime minister? When Mark Golden becomes your prime minister, is that the type of silence? Is that the turned up blind eye behavior? Is that the turned a blind eye behavior that you will accept from Mark Golden should he become the leader of your country? Or Mark Golden should start answering your questions from now. If he wants to show that he's including us, he's including the grassroots in decision making. He's including the grassroots in the communication. He wants to be open and transparent. Is he not under a duty to start while he is leader of the opposition? If Mark Golden wants us to give him the reins of our country, is he not under a duty to start speaking to us, answering our questions been open and transparent to us with his answers as best as he can. But Mark Golden is rather another promiser. A promisor like Andrew Holness. He's just one who's coming with promises in order to fool the people, get their vote, fool the people, get their vote, and then go on to further enrich himself. Is Mark Golden a capitalist posing as a social democrat? What should we do with Julian Silvera? What should we do with Julian Silvera? It cannot be that Julian Silvera It cannot be that 14-year-olds, it cannot be that 14-year-olds ought to be hanged by Bobby Montague standards. And then there is a possibility of Bobby Montague assisting a cold-blooded criminal with legal fees. What should we do with Julian Silvera by Bobby Montague standards? By Bobby Montague standards, should Silvera, Ado James, good morning, good afternoon, and good morning if you're from the eastern side of things. Applying Bobby Montague's logic, should Mr. Silvera allow to eat taxpayers' food? Should taxpayers' money be wasted and prosecuting Mr. Silvera using Bobby Montague's logic? If we're using Bobby Montague's logic, shouldn't justice be applied equally across the board, regardless of age?
Victims and the victims' families, they will say this parliament is pursuing injustice rather than justice. And this parliament, Madam Speaker, must balance and ensure that the victims and the victims' families feel that the sentence that we are sending and the sentence of the court reflect the act that the offender did to the victim. No, we are not going to hang them. And I'm the first to tell you I don't believe in hanging. But Madam Speaker, we cannot just knock young offenders 14 to 17 on their wrist. We have to lock them up for a long period of time and let them reflect and improve their ways. As intimated, I ask for the suspension of the debate, and I will allow all members who want to speak the time to speak. Next week or the week after. Thanks.
Madam, I believe that the offer from the minister, I just want to get it very clear that it will not be suspended or ended next week. Because I have very strong views. Because we cannot ask the taxpayers of Jamaica.
Your suitable comments were sufficiently indicative of your strong views. You will have a chance
to pay for mind them.
You will have a chance for that member. Your mic is on for us to get that clarity.
I apologize, madam.
Yes, you will have.
Hang them.
No. House leader, order in the parliament. So, order in the parliament, member. Please take your seat.
By Bobby Montague's standard, should we waste time with Julian Silvera? What should we do with Julian Silvera? Carlene Humphrey, good morning, and Karen Spence, good morning and welcome. What should we do with Julian Silvera by Bobby Montague's standard? Should we waste money on him? Should we waste time on him? Or should we apply the same rules that Bobby Montague want to apply to 14 to 17-year-olds? Should the same rule apply to Julian Silvera? Should the same rule be applied to Julian Silvera? Global TV will take a break and we will return shortly.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the your little rat you. Use the youth, them on them waste, must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money, girl, and say that is not you. On the head, the man above him, look him, I got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption face.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out with each.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, them rap and they down in our river. Member bold honey and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again.
I will play an audio update for you and be right back after the audio update.
Criminal charges are expected to be laid on former member of Parliament for West St. Mary and chairman of the People's National Party's founders group, Julian Silvera, after ballistics tests reportedly connected his firearm to the brutal murder of his wife, Melissa. The former MP is set to face murder-related charges in the coming hours. He remains in jail this morning. He's to undergo a final round of interrogation by detectives. More in this report. Silvera was picked up last evening at an Upper St. Andrew house by detectives from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Major Investigation Division, MID. He was led away in handcuffs to the MID's headquarters on Spanish Town Road, then whisked away to a police lockup in the corporate area, where he spent the night behind bars. It was initially reported that Melissa Silvera died in her sleep. However, a post-mortem later disclosed that she was shot at least 3 times. Following this development, the police questioned Silvera twice and seized his licensed firearm and his mobile phone. Extensive forensic work has reportedly established a connection between Silvera's gun and the murder of his wife, with whom he had a turbulent relationship. It's believed Melissa was gunned down at the couple's home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew. Melissa's murder has sent shockwaves through the country. Her husband, Jolyon, who's now a suspect in her murder, is a high-profile former member of parliament. Up to the point where the death of his wife was treated as a murder investigation, he was busy on the campaign trail for the PNP and has been photographed in the company of the opposition leader. Melissa was the goddaughter of former Prime Minister and ex-PNP President P.J. Patterson. Her family is highly regarded in the halls of the PNP. In a heartfelt written tribute that was included in the program at her funeral, which was held 2 weeks ago, Mr. Patterson grieved for Melissa, whom he described as his niece. The former Prime Minister expressed condolences to Melissa's 3 boys, but did not mention by name her late husband, Jolyon Silvera. The police investigation into the murder of Melissa Silvera has led to statements being taken from several people who visited the scene after news surfaced of her demise. A statement was reportedly collected from PNP Vice President and Member of Parliament for North West Manchester, Michael Phillips. It's understood that the police also made arrangements to collect a statement from the wife of a high-profile PNP politician who visited the bloody scene when news surfaced that Melissa died in her sleep. It's not immediately clear if that statement was collected. Statements have also reportedly been collected from individuals who Mr. Silvera is alleged to have told that Melissa had passed away in her sleep while she was in his company. And Jolyon Silvera is reportedly strongly denying wrongdoing. The embattled PNP politician has hired King's Counsel Peter Champney. Champney is expected to be at the MID headquarters Friday morning, where the police will move to undergo a final round of interrogation of his client. It's expected that Mr. Silvera will then be prosecuted and brought before the criminal court. Tona Thomas for Nationwide News.
Good morning, Sasha Lewis, and welcome. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you understand, Butcher, that there is a political backlash coming for Mark Golden. You heard the news? There is a political backlash coming for Mark Golden. Mark Golden saw this coming. He think, Stacey, good morning. Mark Golden think the cover-up could have protected him from scrutiny. But we have to make sure, if we're calling out one corrupt leader and we see a leader claim to be in waiting with the same corrupt practices, with the same disregard to the nation practices, by all means, we should call them out. I want to play this news update again for those who might not have heard it.
Criminal charges are expected to be laid on former Member of Parliament for West St. Mary and Chairman of the People's National Party's Founders Group, Jolyon Silvera, after ballistics tests reportedly connected his firearm to the brutal murder of his wife, Melissa. The former MP is set to face murder-related charges in the coming hours. He remains in jail this morning. He is to undergo a final round of interrogation by detectives. More in this report. Silvera was picked up last evening at an Upper St. Andrew house by detectives from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Major Investigation Division, MID. He was led away in handcuffs to the MID's headquarters on Spanish Town Road, then whisked away to a police lockup in the corporate area where he spent the night behind bars. It was initially reported that Melissa Silvera died in her sleep. However, a post-mortem later disclosed that she was shot at least 3 times. Following this development, the police questioned Silvera twice and seized his licensed firearm and his mobile phone. Extensive forensic work has reportedly established connection between Silvera's gun and the murder of his wife, with whom he had a turbulent relationship. It's believed Melissa was gunned down at the couple's home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew. Melissa's murder has sent shockwaves through the country. Her husband, Jolyon, who's now a suspect in her murder, is a high-profile former member of parliament. Up to the point where the death of his wife was treated as a murder investigation, he was busy on the campaign trail for the PNP and has been photographed in the company of the opposition leader. Melissa was the goddaughter of former Prime Minister and ex-PNP President P.J. Patterson. Her family is highly regarded in the halls of the PNP. In a heartfelt written tribute that was included in the program at her funeral, which was held 2 weeks ago, Mr. Patterson grieved for Melissa, whom he described as his niece. The former Prime Minister expressed condolences to Melissa's 3 boys, but did not mention by name her late husband, Jolyon Silvera. The police investigation into the murder of Melissa Silvera has led to statements being taken from several people who visited the scene after news surfaced of her demise. A statement was reportedly collected from PNP Vice President and Member of Parliament for North West Manchester, Michael Phillips. It's understood that the police also made arrangements to collect a statement from the wife of a high-profile PNP politician who visited the bloody scene when news surfaced that Melissa died in her sleep. It's not immediately clear if that statement was collected. Statements have also reportedly been collected from individuals who Mr. Silvera is alleged to have told that Melissa had passed away in her sleep while she was in his company. And Jolyon Silvera is reportedly strongly denying wrongdoing. The embattled PNP politician has hired King's Counsel Peter Champagny. Champagny is expected to be at the MID headquarters Friday morning, where the police will move to undergo a final round of interrogation of his client. It's expected that Mr. Silvera will then be prosecuted and brought before the criminal court. Tona Thomas for Nationwide News.
Of course, there was enough evidence last week to arrest Jolyon Silvera. Karen Cross has been saying long time that the ballistics came back. Karen Cross has been saying long time the ballistic result came back. And the bullet fragment in Mr. Silvera matches Mr. Silvera's gun. Karen Cross has been saying that way before Mr. Silvera's funeral. Fitzbailey could have, if he was waiting for one more piece of evidence, Fitzbailey could have arrested Mr. Silvera on suspicion for the murder of Melissa Silvera. If he and Paula Llewellyn thinks they need that one more piece of evidence before they lay charges, then what they could do after the minimum time has passed is, with the evidence they have, is take Jolyon Silvera, Carla Hills, good morning, is take Jolyon Silvera before the magistrate court and argue their case that there is sufficient evidence here that Jolyon Silvera could have been the only one who killed his wife. And we're absolutely sure when this next piece of evidence comes in, we are positive that with that, we will have a positive outcome by securing a conviction against Jolyon Silvera. Nothing was stopping Paula Llewellyn. Nothing was stopping Paula Llewellyn and Fitzbailey from making that call last week before Mrs. Silvera's funeral to prevent this disgraceful debacle that we saw of Mr. Silvera walking in, standing on the step of St. Andrew Church that is led by the wicked Cyrano Kitson. May have close tie with the other thieving bishop them like Father Ken and them lot. We thief up all our Father Albert dead left, but Father Ken are coming for you one day, because hear the amount of stolen things you sit down pan, stolen money, stolen land, stolen church title, stolen asset. Father Ken are coming for you one day, because you might just be as evil and wicked as Cyrano Kitson. You might just be evil and wicked as Cyrano Kitson, who couldn't use the word justice. You might just be evil and wicked like Cyrano Kitson, who couldn't use the word justice. In church, mind you. In church. The news update said they were to speak to a high-profile, the wife of a high-profile PNP that visited the bloody sea. I wonder if it was in the blood and gore. I wonder if in the midst of the blood and gore, Silvera could have called the notable attorney, Dr. Phillips' wife, for legal advice. It's just a question. Could Silvera, in the blood and gore of killing his wife, could he have called Dr. Peter Phillips' wife, a noted attorney, for legal advice? Have Fitzbailey spoken to Right Bango? And who else who was on the scene in the aftermath of Mrs. Silvera's killing, who Fitzbailey may have spoken to? Who else have Fitzbailey spoken to with regards to the cover-up of the killing of Melissa Silvera? Who were those people, it was said, that was going and coming from the Silvera's property in SUV on the night of the 10th of November into the early morning of the 11th of November? Who were those people who were in SUVs? Who was the wife of the high-profile politician? Is it somebody with legal or medical expertise? The wife of the politician who is said to have visited the Silvera's residence in the midst of blood and gore, or I didn't hear it correctly. Did anyone heard that, or I am making it up? Did anyone hear what the newscast said, or am I making it up? Answer me then. Did anyone else heard that, or I made it up? Please answer me, because I don't want to think I'm hallucinating here. I don't want anyone to think I'm going off my rockers. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you that we will be going over to our North American correspondent whenever the time is right for our broadcast of today's call to action protest at the Jamaican consulate in Miami, Florida. We will now go over to North America to our correspondent, David Jervis. David Jervis, good afternoon and
Good
welcome
morning,
to Global
globalists.
Television.
We're here at the Jamaican consulate, live right now.
What I'm going to do,
You're
I'm going
listening
to
to
bring
Dr. Rupert Francis speaking on behalf of the diaspora and referring to the love letter that was written to the Jamaican government.
Right now, as we speak, it is being televised throughout the diaspora. For you to understand that we are not afraid to say to the government or any other government, you need your people, whether they are home or abroad, and they need your support. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that last year alone in remittances, there were $4.5 billion sent by our people throughout the universe to Jamaica.
Bear with me, people.
We will be back with our North American correspondent as soon as I need to send them a message. I will play your music. I'll be back with you shortly.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we go to eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Go be money, miss we eat the yellow correct you. Use the youth, the money, we scam us, the man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but we got in a figure you. Take this print of money, God and say that is not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a break. Too much eating at the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. The singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
On the treat the market man.
It burn me.
On them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
On them treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
On them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
On them a treat the son man.
It burn me.
On them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't.
We will continue the conversation until we get back over to North America. But if Fitzbailey have that much information, should Fitzbailey not arrest Julian Silvera to prevent that disgraceful spectacle we saw at the funeral, if they were thinking about the children and the scars that this is going to or was going to leave the children in, having to engage that video on social media throughout their life with their father attending their mother's funeral, cold-faced, cold-heartedly, after killing her in cold blood. Look at what we have become. Look at what we have become as a country. When the choice between the two leaders of both political parties are involved in or closely involved and closely associated with those who commit crime, and both leaders go into absolute silence. Both leaders go into absolute silence when it comes to justice for those whom have been murdered, to people who are close to them, such as the Andrew Holness and the Patrick Bailey situation, where a murder was committed in the house of the Prime Minister's attorney, then attorney, now struck off the JLC by the JLC. Mark Golden, it is said that Silvera, morning Alison Hamilton, morning. It is said that Silvera is the head of Mark Golden's security. Mark Golden has been repeatedly asked, give a clarifying position. To date, nothing has happened. Silvera is now arrested and about to be charged for the death of his wife. Do you think Mark Golden is under a duty to speak to the electorate? Do you think Mark Golden is under a duty to speak to our electorate? As soon as the call to action team is ready, we will definitely go back over to them so you can have a feel of what's going on out there today at the Jamaica Consulate in Miami, Florida. And that protest is on the way at the moment at 44 West Flagler Street, Miami, Florida. So if you're in the Florida area and you have the time to venture out and give your support, they will be there, I think, for about 4 hours. So if you're close enough, then you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to do so. But we are still awaiting their comeback while we continue to ask. And the question is, should we question Fitzbailey's integrity? Should we question whether Fitzbailey is involved in the cover-up, or is Fitzbailey giving special privilege to Julian Silvera by not arresting Julian Silvera before the funeral of Melissa Silvera, which they had enough information to do? Because now they're admitting to us that the ballistic came back and it's positive. Karen Cross told us that about a week and a half before Melissa's funeral. Julian Silvera could have been arrested from the time the postmortem result came out to say Melissa was murdered. The narrative he first gave and the change of narrative after the postmortem result, that alone in some country would have allowed them to arrest him on suspicion of murder for questioning. At that point, they may not be able to keep him in custody. What they could do then as an ex-MP head teacher, would he still have diplomatic immunity? And diplomatic immunity, yeah, it would prevent you from instant arrest or even from culpability in some instance. But does he still have diplomatic immunity? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think he still has that. So, but from the story changing, when the postmortem result came out and the story started changing, they had enough to arrest him for questioning on suspicion of murder. Even if they couldn't keep him in custody to now, until whatever Fitzbailey claimed to have been waiting for, they could have given him time to return with specifications. Whether he surrenders his passport, he reports to a police station every day, or whatever the restriction the judge or the police, for that matter, the police can do that. Ask for his passport to be surrendered. Ask for him to return to a police station at a particular time. There was enough evidence from the postmortem result to remove this dangerous man from the street. Allowing him to go at the funeral and stand on the step of St. Andrew Church and glared at us. Stand in front of the pulpit. In the family seating area, when he should have been in a prison cell. Was he given special privilege? Was he given special privilege by Fitzbailey and Paula Llewellyn, who could have given the direction? There is enough to go forward with a charge. There is enough to go forward with a charge. There was nothing pointing in any other direction. The wife of the high-profile People's National Party, is she not under a duty to report a crime? The wife of the People's National Party, the wife of the influential People's National Party, whoever that is. Even if that person has medical or legal knowledge, if that person has medical or legal expertise, why they were called to the Silvera's residence? Are they not under duty to report a crime? Is this person being investigated, this wife of an influential People's National Party politician, is this person being investigated as a part of the cover-up? Who is the doctor that visited the property? Who helped Mr. Silvera to clean the blood up? Who assists Mr. Silvera in the cleaning up of the blood? Are the people who decorate, does the people who decorate the, have the people who decorated Mr. Silvera's bedroom, have they been questioned by the police? How wide is this cover-up? Who else is involved that we are not aware of yet? Is it because PJ Patterson will not let this go? Why Fitzbailey have to do something? Is it because PJ Patterson is personally hurt by this and will not let it go? Will not allow you all to get away with it? Is it the reason why something have to be done? Is it because PJ Patterson decided, I will not let this happen? I will not let you all get away with it? Is it this the reason why Fitzbailey have to be making it look like he's doing something? Do you think history will be kind to Fitzbailey when we look at situation like Donnelly, Reverend Moore, Melissa Silvera, Jermaine Young, and Dr. What's the doctor in Portland called again? What's the doctor in Portland called? Do you think history will be kind to Fitzbailey? Fitzbailey is a man of the cloth, a man of God, a man who goes on the pulpit with influence, a man who goes on the pulpit with influence. That's the man that we see in a regular covering up of crimes in our country. It's not the first. It is not the first. It's been over and over and over. We see this practice from Fitzbailey.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the yellow correct you. Use the youth, the money, waste for most of man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got enough, they got you. Take this script of money, God and say that is not you. One day the man above him up, him a got a break. Too much eating at the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me,
300% raise.
it burn me,
Garbage pile up the day.
it burn me,
Give the teacher them
it
raise.
burn me,
I see corruption please.
it burn me,
Mash down the people them house.
it burn me,
Every day appear arms out.
it burn me,
Appear money them a thief.
it burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me,
Or they treat the market man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the cat man.
it burn me,
Or they treat the peanut man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the dirt man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the son man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat policeman.
it burn me,
How them a treat soldier man.
it burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort.
Losing that essence of who is a Jamaican. Losing their can't solve it. I can't solve it. Go to the mirror.
You can hear and see now.
Husband don't accept in a church. Drink white rum if you want to.
Stop anywhere I eat.
Stop anywhere I eat. I don't want to worry about it.
Stop at the roadside bars.
Anywhere. Jamaica is nice. That is why the tourists want to come. And if you know
You're listening to Dr. Rupert Francis speak. I hope you guys can hear and see.
We can hear and see, but if you could get a bit closer with the camera, that would be appreciated.
Thank you very much. The tourists are protected. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make it quite clear. We are not going to stop. We are not going to stop advocating. We are not going to stop meeting. We are not going to stop until they listen. Do you know what the best thing they could have done is to even send us an official response to the letter? Yes. But instead, what have they done? They try to demonize people like myself. I am not saying I'm pure, but I have a damn good record.
Yes, sir.
Retired military officer.
Yes, sir.
I'm a teacher. I was Boy of the Year for Jamaica. Long time ago, I was a Queen Scout. Yet I was not brought up on the proverbial table. I was a barefoot boy. And I said to you, if I
have homemade signs. Too much crime in Jamaica. Who are the six? Too much corruption. Andrew must go. He needs a crime plan. What about SSL's money? People's money are missing from the banks every day.
We have to advocate
radical or anyone else not speak. Ladies and gentlemen, let us speak for those who are not speaking.
Speaking to someone here. Let's go back to Dr. Francis.
Not speaking. Let us stop this informative culture. Right? We want our leaders to lead.
That's right.
Exemplo tusimos.
That's right.
Yes.
We shall lead. Yes, sir.
Yes.
We must not be afraid.
Yes.
We must do what we have to do. In the words of the Master and the Prophet Eslamali, we have to emancipate
Ourselves from mental slavery. Yes,
Yes,
family.
We have to get up and stand up for justice, for peace, and for brotherhood.
Yes, Dr. Francis.
Prosperity, not imagine prosperity. Right? We have nothing against our brothers and sisters in this community. Just talk to us. Just come to us. And as they say, reason. And the reason we recognize.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing is on the way. And just speak with us this morning. But I want to give you the opportunity. Anybody want to get the opportunity to just say something?
We're coming to you live from
Right? And I want you to understand.
In downtown Miami with Dr. Rupert Francis.
This is Debbie Jervis reporting for producer Wayne Global TV. We've just listened to Dr. Rupert Francis. We have other speakers on the way. Traffic in Miami is ridiculous. We have now Jamaican Carlos on the mic. Well, we can't use the mic, but we're using our voices. Exactly. Come on, Howard. Come on, Howard.
This brother here is from the Jamaica movement, right? This
Yes.
is a political move. Don't even come out here. Tell your people like, look, I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
I'm a Jamaica. All right?
One moment.
Government of Jamaica
Hold
is
it.
corrupt. The government of Jamaica is so corrupt. And I'm telling you, it's extremely dirty. It's the head of the government.
Yes.
How can they fight? How can you put a box in a house? How can they control corruption? We, the Jamaican people, have to ensure that every single thing that they do, we watch it. We need transparency. Yes, sir. We need accountability. Yes, sir. Look at the SSL scandal. Yes, sir. We need to investigate.
You're listening to Howard from the Up Jamaica movement, who is here to support this call to action happening right now in front of the Jamaican Consulate building, downtown Miami. We are at 44 West Flagler Street, downtown Miami.
You got to be secret and private, otherwise we prosecute you if you don't disclose who these politicians are. We have to stand up for justice. Amen. Right? Jamaica is too corrupt. Everywhere you go, you have scammers.
These are our current protesters. We have others on the way. Notice our signs.
A small memory.
Where are our donor funds? Lead by example. End of corruption.
So we're swinging from one.
Our call to action.
From one thing to the other. The same thing over and over. How do you expect change? You will never get change. We need to change the system from within. And we have to start with the ghetto youth. Because a lot of Jamaicans understand and know what's going on. They know what's going on. And that's why they refuse to vote. We need change in Jamaica. The diaspora, as a matter of fact, are the engine for economics in Jamaica. And while the government are giving themselves a 200-300%.
300% raise.
They're stealing from the people.
And the hospitalized no bed.
Police now get paid. Teachers now get paid.
Yeah.
No MRI machines.
Pay the people then. 200%. Can you imagine 200% for what? And how much is minimum wage in Jamaica?
And crime has gone up 300% since they got the 300% raise.
Politicians getting minimum wage. They're the ones that should get minimum wage.
Right.
If you go to Moko, there's no water in Moko. But them have AC in a garden house.
Yeah.
You don't need to have it. Jamaican people don't have it. You shouldn't have it. Okay?
Amen.
So Jamaican people, diaspora, we need to stand up more. We know what it's like to work hard here in the snow, right? But we support Jamaica. Exactly. Anything in Jamaica. So we need to stand up and we need to continue the fight. Thank you all.
Thank you, Howard. Up Jamaica movement.
Like I said, if you're labor rights, you're paid, we are up. Come out as a country. You have a heart, you have a conscience, you know, say, wrong is wrong and right is right. It's not a politics thing. It's not a politics. Yeah. Politics is too small for us. We're going to put it in a box.
Yes.
We're going to put it in a box. Politics is too small. You know? No politics here. So, guys, Dr. Francis, reality. You know, I just want to say that you may, in hearing that it is I alone that penned the letter.
No, sir.
Let it be clear.
We know.
Ideas went into penning the letter.
Concerted effort.
People. Many of them are here with you today.
Yes.
So we have to understand. One cocoa full glass skin.
Yes.
And what they're hoping is that our energy will be sucked from us. And right now, we have a gentleman who everybody now says it must be my cousin. He's the one who is pushing me to do this. They are the ones to do this and do that. Well, make me talk now because you're taking an interview with him. But in a little while, the man that called Ratty will be right here in front of you.
Come on, rope in, Ratty, rope in.
And I'm asking you, yes, rope in, everybody. Make sure you're listening. Make sure you check your what you call it. Bring people to the audience that is on Facebook and everywhere else. I ask you to be patient. And I ask you to just take a couple minutes. Just relax. And then I guess the room callers want to entertain or anybody else want to say something quickly. You may do something, but we cannot use the microphone right now.
Oh, okay.
And don't forget, I'm not a small guy, you know. So, when I talk to people.
Yes, sir.
All right. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Our Jamaica.
One Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
One Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
One Jamaica. One Jamaica.
Who's Jamaica?
My Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
Over Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
Over Jamaica.
Our Jamaica.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace. All right. Stay with Jamaica.
Call to action. Call to action. Listen. Do not speak for the diaspora.
We are the diaspora.
Yes. Nobody supports us. But I want you to see the thousands of people all over the globe.
Amen. Amen.
You may not like me personally, and I'm not asking you. I am the man on the radio investing on beats and they love to hate. Because if you come to me and you ask me to pull up in, I look in your hand to see you have a 45. If you have no 45, I'm going to say that. I don't know. I said that because I know people but remember what I'm trying to say by saying that before they interpret me again. What's in the situation? Let me tell you something. We take people in order. Right. That's right. And most important is the big and the bold and the fat. And we work hard. So I know that if they do the right thing in Jamaica, we will also be able to reach the reward. True. Right? So I want you to make them understand that we're not going to back down.
Nope.
They can do all they want, all they can do. We are representing you and we will continue to represent you. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
No justice. No peace. We want action, we don't want no bagamouth. No bagamouth.
No bagamouth.
Call to action. No surrender. Call to action. No vagabond. 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 No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? All right. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Call to action. No vagabond. Call to action. Call to action. No justice. No peace. Whose country? Who's Jamaica? Whose beach? Who's my mountain? No, no, I'm sorry. No justice, no peace. Jamaica like we love. Yes. We do this for the love of our country. Not because we hate someone. We don't stay where you are. If we don't love Jamaica, we could have work. We could have work TV. Right. I said, boy, yeah, somebody has sleeping or something like, burn me or something. You know? They say we in the diaspora have no authority.
No standing.
But yet still, they can come here and be members of the diaspora, break for policy, collect money from the diaspora, take back to Jamaica, and people who were born in Jamaica, live in the diaspora, they are telling that we have got all the most honest because we can't talk about that. In other words, if you discriminate against Jamaica, run down Jamaica in the bad way.
Now, globalists, I'm going to have a talk with some of our protesters here. This is Debbie Jervis, representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England. Can you give us your thoughts on this protest today?
And guess what? I'm happy to see what the diaspora is doing right now because guess what? We need some action for Jamaica. We need people to be able to sleep with their doors open, as the Prime Minister said. We want justice in Jamaica for poor people because guess what? It's only the rich so far is benefiting in Jamaica.
Thank you. Debbie Jervis, representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England. Just give us your thoughts on this protest.
Debbie, I'm not a speaker like that, but I love the turnout. I appreciate my people for coming, expressing the love that they have for Jamaica. We are no longer going to put up with this from no party, right? We're no longer going to put up with this. It's time. It's time for the change. This change it's past due, and it's a must. Amen. Right? Thank you, Wayne Global TV.
Thank you. Howard from Up Jamaica Movement. This is Debbie Jervis. I'm representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England.
Okay.
Give us a couple minutes of your thoughts on this protest.
Okay. Jamaica is a gem in the Caribbean. This protest movement, I am happy to be here. Okay, I left this morning, flew to Charlotte just to get here this morning. And I am happy that we are here united because unity is strength. And we need to push forward as a nation to create an atmosphere where everybody in Jamaica feels safe. Nobody feels safe, right? You have burglar bar outside, you have burglar bar inside, right? You know, so we need to push the government to ensure that they respect the people. There is only one institution in the world that allows the employees to manage over the employer, and that's government. Okay, so if you have a government where they're public servant, they're not serving the people, they're serving themselves. So they need to serve the people, and we, the employers, need to pull them in, fire them, get rid of them. We need accountability, we need transparency. We don't have that. And we need to ensure that we empower the people and educate the youth to increase their consciousness to say, look, something is wrong with this. We can't keep flip-flopping and vacillating between two parties and we're not seeing anything. For close to 80 years, we have to change that.
Thank you very much, Howard. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Globalists, are you hearing the comments from our protesters down here? Would you ladies like to say something about the protest? They're shy, they're camera shy. Let's go find them some seats.
Can I get your opinion on this protest?
Well, yes. I'm Israel, and I'm a concerned Jamaican. Concerned about the corruption in Jamaica because I have a home in Jamaica. I want to go to Jamaica, and sometime I have to be considering back and forth if I should go because of the crime. And I see so many killings going on in Jamaica, and none has been solved, even in the government and all that kind of stuff. Even going to Jamaica sometime, when I'm landing in Jamaica, and I look around and see all these battles and all stuff. And Jamaica is a land of food and water, and people cannot get basic water in them pipe. You know, good road for drive pan and them stuff there. Those are the two basic things that Jamaican people really asking the government for, and they cannot even produce that. You know, it's a shame. There's so much things going on, and people saying that what we're doing is embarrassing Jamaica. But Jamaica already embarrassed us here. So we have to come together and stand up for one Jamaica with no PMP, no labor right, because they've been having us like a seesaw forever. And if you want change, you have to do something different. You cannot do the same thing over and over and expect change. You have to do something different. And I hope that our Jamaican people can come together, because the younger ones that are there, most of them haven't gotten any training how to become men or women. And now they're like wild doing all kind of crazy stuff. So we need to come back and get together and help them to learn, to understand themselves, know who they are and what they're supposed to do in life, because nobody is teaching them, because our government now just love the fully done, so they can spin them around and do whatever they want when election time comes. And I hope the Jamaican people stop, let them buy them votes and vote for policies and not people.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Can you give me your thoughts on this protest today?
Well, my thoughts on this program is, you see my sign here, call to action. We are calling to action for a better Jamaica.
Yes.
And that's my views right now. Straight up, call to action. We need better. And that's it. All right.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking around trying to get some of our protesters' opinion on this protest. Hello again, Debbie Jervis representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England. Can you give us your thoughts on this historic occasion today?
I'm not a good speaker, but I love my country. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here. I'm always a man undercover. Not like the limelight, but to my country, I love my country. So I have to come out to my country. Okay? Man to be where I come from. Bless up.
Here is another one of our staunch supporters of Jamaica and the protest here today. Can you have Debbie Jervis representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England? Can you give us your thoughts on this historic occasion here today?
It is a very, very special occasion.
History in the making.
The country of Jamaica needs support. We need a quick turnaround in thought and deeds from the parliamentarians and the head of the country.
Yes, sir.
And if we cannot get it by asking, this is the turnout that will push and help the Jamaican people realize that the entire diaspora is with them.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yes, I want to ask you some questions before I sign up. I know you need my autograph.
My name is Debbie Jervis. I'm representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England. Would you give us your thoughts on this happening today, this occasion happening today?
It's a good look.
Yes, sir.
I love it. History.
In the making.
Definitely. years to come.
I'm gonna remember this.
People are going to go up on YouTube and find it. That's how you have to start. We love it, man. Big up yourself. Continue doing what you're doing. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Close friends, principal just come to West England.
Yes, right.
Tell us what you think, darling. Tell us what you think about this protest. I'm Debbie Jervis. I'm representing producer Wayne Global TV out of England. And I just want to get your thoughts on this protest today.
Oh, what the protest? Believe you me, we have more people going to come. But you know, of the job situation, some people can't get away. But I know their hearts are here with us.
Yes.
But right now, I had to come. Well, today's my day off, really. And I brought my other friend with me, and we had to come because I have to stand up for my country. I have things out there. I got that land and all that. And we've been building, but I tell my son, hold on.
It's across from the Jamaican.
Cannot go like this anymore. Let's hold on. And whatsoever they say, the daggers are there talking and stuff. You lie. I repeat it back to knock my friend when they call me, they say yes.
Thank you, darling. The rebel is here. Sir Wilfred Rattigan.
You don't have to be here. You could be anywhere else. You could be at work. But you've chosen to be here. Why? Because of our people value. Because of what the government is putting in. And I stand proud to be here with you today. Appreciate for that message. And that's the message of schoolhood.
Yes.
The message of transparency. The message of good governance. The message of democracy. After I'm signing up, somebody said, let me see that. Right?
I mean, by example.
See this? This is what they're afraid of.
Yes.
This is exactly what they're afraid of. They're also afraid of this because this is the first time. This is the first time in the history of Jamaica that we're having a group of Jamaicans protest against the Jamaican government overseas, saying that we're dissatisfied with what's going on in our country. Now let me tell you a little bit about this. Under this act, and this is an American law, what it says is that if government officials or persons of influence in your country are involved in kleptocracy, which is stealing from the public coffers, if you're involved in corruption, or if you're involved in human rights abuse, then those persons become subject to having their visas revoked and their assets seized.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you, if you don't know about this, I'm going to convince you that you do know about this. When the war started in Ukraine and Russia, and they started seizing the oligarchs, yeah? And they started seizing their assets, this is what they use. Now let me make a case. Thank you, sir. Let me make the case for the Magnitsky Act application to the government. In Jamaica, there's something we all know called a state of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
You can only have a state of emergency in 3 situations. You can only have it insurrection if people are attacking the government, want to destroy it. War or natural disaster. You cannot use it for police action. It was intended, and only in 2020 the court ruled that states of emergency, as applied by the government of Jamaica, is unconstitutional. What happened since then? On 3 occasions since then, the government instituted the same state of emergency. When they conduct a state of emergency, people are held indefinitely in detention without charge. That's a human rights offense. That makes them subject to Magnitsky Act. And we think we have a very, very solid case. So next week, no, next month, we will be approaching our lawmakers in Washington, D.C. We will be approaching State Department, and we will say to them that, look, you need to apply this for lawmakers. We would like to see visas revoked.
Yes.
We would like to see visas revoked.
Yes.
And we would like to see assets seized.
Yes.
And some of those assets are right here. Right? So that's just one method that we're using to go after the government of Jamaica. Because think about it. There's a social contract between the voters and the government. And the contract works like this. We give you our vote, and you provide service delivery. Exactly. No service. No service. And as a result of that, there's another, wait a minute, there's another, oh, let me understand. This. Should have a question mark right there. Where are the donor funds? Do you know?
No.
No. Everyone, do you know where the donor funds are? Do you want to know where
Somebody pocket.
Do you want to know where the donor funds are?
Somebody offshore account.
Exactly.
Somebody offshore account.
For COVID, Jamaica received approximately 750 billion US dollars.
US dollars.
Today, we have no accounting for that one. None. In fact, what they did, they said the monies should have been dispersed to two communities. The vulnerable, poor people, and business.
Yep.
Ask the poor people then how much of them get.
None.
Ah, ask the poor people them. Okay.
I will be a vice president.
No. Yeah, and one of the things that they did was they said, as members of the vulnerable community, you're going to have access to the internet. You're going to have a bank account. How many poor people do you have access to the internet? And some of them we don't have light.
Not exactly.
Right? We don't know where that money is. But here's the sad part of it. It's one thing for them to get the money and steal the money.
Yeah.
It's another part where the same poor people for whom the money was destined for. Is that right?
No. Criminal. Criminal.
Right. So that's one of the reasons why we're here. We're here to protest all of these things because in Jamaica we have something called the 9-day wonder. Where for 9 days we talk about it and then slip under the rug. Nothing more about it. Right? Our Prime Minister, and I say our because I firmly believe that once the election is over, we have to support whoever else.
Of course.
Yes.
Now here's what happened to our Prime Minister. There you go. It's statutory declaration. We will talk about that.
Yes.
Statutory declaration, which is financial statements, right? The same institution that he caused to be established, the Integrity Commission. Exactly. They said we can't verify statutory declarations for the past 2 years. The third one is due by March 31st of this year. Now, how can you have a prime minister who set up this anti-corruption agency to do exactly what they're doing to him, and his stuff cannot, his financials cannot be verified? Something is wrong there. There you go. So, well, the gather order, that's something different. We can talk about that another time. But what we need to know is that the statutory declaration came into existence under this government. It actually started before, but it was established in 2017, and the agency itself started working in 2018. And we're having all kinds of problems with it right now. You've seen where they can't, 6 people. Yes. Oh, by the way, let me correct something. The 6 people, those names are not in Parliament. They're not in Parliament. They're with the Integrity Commission. Yeah. So we need to stop asking Parliament to release the names of the 6. The 6 is not there. You know what the name of the 6?
Tell it! Tell it! Tell it!
I don't want to know the 6. I don't know. I let my mother used to say, every liar is a. Every liar. And we know who are thief, right? Because when you look and see certain people couldn't pay student loans, I know where them live. Big lie. There you go. So what we need to do today is we need to let the people of Jamaica know that we stand with them. Because they're suffering. If you listen to the and everyone of you out there have relatives in Jamaica. Everybody have relatives. And I'm sure you're still sending your barrels, you're still sending your money. And you're still hearing cries of woe, cries of depression. Still a pay tax of Jamaica. This same government in 2016, the promise, and you talk about taxes, the promise of that they would establish a mechanism so that we could vote. All of a sudden, nothing. They also said that they would establish a seat in the Senate for the diaspora. What do you hear about it? Nothing. So basically, what we're looking at is a failed government. Let me hear you say it. One more time. Lift up the voices. Yes, indeed. That's what we get. No. This is supposed to be so what we want to do now. As the phone can't get on the program. Ask me the question I want. You love it. All right. Any question? Yeah. No, ask any question. Any question I want. Let me ask you this. Yeah.
I know. You had tried before to become the head of security in Jamaica. Heard that. You know, what would you bring different that could make a difference to our society as it relates to crime if you had that chance?
First thing, and the only thing you need to know is leadership. Did everybody hear the question? The question was, I had applied to become police commissioner, and if I was successful, what would I bring to the job? And I tell them I only need to say one thing: leadership. We don't have leadership in Jamaica. We have a military man, right, who doesn't understand law enforcement. He has no experience in law enforcement, zero. But worse than that, we have a medical doctor who's in charge of national security. We have a square peg in a round hole, right? We have somebody who was, the diaspora said, we would like to help. And he said, we don't need you because we have world-class policemen down here. If you want to come and make a speech, we will approve it. Send your money. Yes, but we don't need you. We don't need you to come. Right. Oh, you don't need him. Well. And by the way, that same Minister of National Security in 2010, everybody know about WikiLeaks? Yes. Remember WikiLeaks about him? WikiLeaks said that this current Minister of National Security, back then at least, was involved with criminal activity. And I mean said so. WikiLeaks, the American government said so. Still here. Yeah. Him said 200 guns are coming to Jamaica. Right. If you know 200 guns are coming to Jamaica, we're not do something about it. And when them tell us, oh, we get 600 guns off of the street. Remember, according to his statistics, 2,400 guns make it to Jamaica. So if you only get 600, 1,800 still unaccounted for.
I just learned, I was going to ask you if you would take up a position in Jamaica, but I just learned now that you have already applied for to become the commissioner of police. Yeah. What was the response, if there was any?
You mean for the times I applied?
Yes.
All right, let me make it clear to everybody. I know now you hear the full story. I was in charge of the FBI office in South Africa. The government of Jamaica approached me through the High Commission. And they had a program
called... Which was the government at that point, sir? Was it the PNP or the JP?
The PNP. They had a program called Mapping the Diaspora, where they said, look, we're reaching out to the diaspora to see if members with certain qualifications would come back home and help. And they asked me if I would apply for the police commissioner's position.
That's where your ambition came from?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was something that because I was about to ask you a question. Why would you think they should apply the HR protocols and bring somebody from a foreign country, even though I know you're Jamaican, into the system? Why wouldn't they take somebody that already start from ground zero with the police system that would have more experience as it relates to the culture and the system, the situation down here?
No, they reach out. They reach out to me. And then they said no. And I heard through the grapevine and them said, nobody interviewed that the one day, right? Because my plan was to take a group of people that I've met all over the globe, law enforcement people, who them not have no friend in Jamaica. Unbiased. Right? The only purpose of coming would be to help clean up Jamaica. In fact, there's one guy, very talented guy, still in touch with him today. He had a family, and when I asked him if he could come and give me 6 months in Jamaica, he said, I'll come, I'll leave my family, and I'll stay as long as you want me to until we clean up the problem. They weren't interested in that. They meaning the government. Then the second time I applied, same thing. And I've never been shortlisted by it. And then the third time, the same thing. But here's the thing. I have no interest. Let me be abundantly clear. I have no interest in that job, police commissioner, because they have several talented people who do a masterful job, including Rowan James. Most of you know about Rowan James. Outstanding law enforcement officer, right? Here's a job that I would take in Jamaica. When I talk to the people, I would take the job in Jamaica as executive director for the Integrity Commission, because we need to bring some integrity to Jamaica. And even the commission itself needs some integrity, because I dare say that they have no idea what they're doing. Go back and read the Integrity Commission Act of 2017 and you'll understand there's so many loopholes there that certain people will get investigated and some won't. It can't work like that. Plus, one of the things it says is that if they start an investigation, they can't talk about it. Can't talk about the investigation. Can't disclose it. But if the investigation proves the person's innocence, they have to come out and make a public statement. Makes no sense. It's either you can't talk about it from the beginning and you can't talk about it at the end, or you talk about it at the beginning and you talk about it at the end. No, my position is that you should talk about it. Because in my law enforcement experience, I found that sometimes I found out that sometimes when you advertise what you're doing, you get people to call in and give you information that otherwise you wouldn't have known. But they have no interest in that. They have absolutely no interest. So we need to revise the Integrity Commission Act, and we need to reform the leadership, and then go after these people. No, I've never voted in Jamaica. I left Jamaica before I could vote. I have no political affiliation. I don't care if you're PLP, JLP, UIC, up Jamaica, down Jamaica, around Jamaica. I don't care. As a law enforcement officer, I go where the evidence leads me. And who forget lock up, get what? Lock up. Who forget lock up, get what? Yes, indeed. So, they wouldn't want somebody like me down there because me not no friend, and me not have no allegiance. And me don't owe nobody nothing. And me not name none of them yard. So they don't want me. But if they ever give me that position, then we have a team ready to go down there. Now, there are some good people in the Integrity Commission. There are some good investigators. Not enough for them. And when we combine our forces, we will have a force to reckon with in Jamaica. Then you'll start seeing true integrity. Huh? Oh, you'll start seeing true integrity investigations. But until then, it's just pure foolishness because the Integrity Commission, they might run from their own shadow right now. Or from them own shadow because they make the parliament have them to and fro, pillar to post, round and round and round. Right. But the problem is that somebody like me who independent and have a voice that's unbiased, I mean, nobody pocket. I do this because of the people in my Waterhouse. I do this because of the people in my Backto, Tivoli, Jonestown, all over the place. Jamaica, we say first. And I want you to remember this. Before you become affiliated with any party, what were you? Jamaica. Yeah, you're now. I hear you now. One more time. Yes, indeed. And that's why we're there, right? So because we are Jamaicans, we're not political animals. We're here fighting for the government to understand that there's a breach in the social contract, and therefore we're asking them to rectify the situation. I was never about replacing our government. Never about that. I was always about getting our government to act responsibly and in an accountable fashion. And that's why we're here. So for the naysayers who say, oh, they want to get rid of the government, they want to overthrow the government. No. First, the Ratigan can overthrow the government. That's within the province and the people who are called voters. Yes. By the way, I would like all the voters of Jamaica, if they listen to me now, to be informed voters, not legacy voters. Don't vote for a party because your mother and your grandmother and great-grandmother vote for a particular party. Vote your conscience. Vote performance or the lack thereof. If you have an MP and the MP says to you, I am going to do this, and that, and the MP not do it. What to go? Long time. You have to vote for, you can't vote for a party per se, you have to vote for your representative. That's right. And far too long what we have done is we have voted like our parents did. But there's an awakening. Yes. People are rise up now. People start call out for action, and that's exactly what this is about. Action! What we say? Action! What we say? Action! 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 One more time! Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Sure. So, they're around the place, they're there for the whole 3-4 hours. Anybody want to ask me any question, I'm available. I don't hide from no question, don't hide from no politician, right? Them say, we can't go back to Jamaica. One man tricked me last week for the program. Man said, they're going to rub me out.
Good morning again. In relation to the banking system, I'm a real Jamaican, and I'm a proud Jamaican, but I've realized lately that a lot of money is being missing from the bank. Millions of dollars are missing from the bank. Here in America, the technology is so advanced, if you're withdrawing a certain amount, the bank alerts you. And they do hire specialists in that field in Jamaica. Now, elderly people are losing millions. A young lady, she lost over 2 million and just left 600,000 in her account. I don't hear the finance minister come out and speak. I don't hear the prime minister come out and speak. So what is your take on that? Because our money is not safe there in the bank.
Well, I'm not going to tell people to run on the banks and take out their money.
Take out for me.
Take out yours.
You lose 66,000 out of any NCB. And we took out to me last year, April.
Talking to the mic.
66,000 I lose last year, April, and I closed my bank account from NCB.
So what's your advice to people who have money in that job?
They count your money kind of safe. Them a hold on bank for them, for me a hold on bank for me.
Need I say more? Need I say more?
I work hard for the money. I know we have our work today. I work at Carl Springs Medical Center. I work hard for the money. So I'm not going to make it stay there. And somebody gone with it. Me, I take you out.
So Ratigan, the man in charge of crime, DP, Deputy Commissioner Fitzgerald, what advice would you have to him when it comes to his way of investigating as a former FBI agent and Deputy Commissioner Fitzgerald
obviously needs some advice if he's willing to take. How would you advise him on moving forward with dealing with investigation?
The first thing is that they're not open to advice. That's the first. They're not open to advice because they'll tell you that they have some of the best investigators if not the world, in North America. They'll tell you that. But before we do that, before we do all of that with Brother Fitz, what we need to ask Brother Fitz is, what about the drug fine at the Ian Fleming Airport in Boston?
The two planes that land.
What about the plane that landed about 2 years ago? Cargo missing, passenger guard. What about the plane that crash landed last week? Yes. Or the week before? Yes. Yeah. And we could go on and on and on and on about investigations or the quality of investigations. Most murders in Jamaica are unsolved. Most murders in Jamaica. Right. And they'll tell you that they've spent, from fiscal year 2016 till March of this year, they've spent, or they should have spent more than 1.2 billion US dollars. Ask them where the money gone. Ask them. Ask them. Ask where the money gone. Last year, was it year before, we had the Prime Minister. He came here in December of 2022. He came to talk about national security, and he come to talk with the FBI and DEA and all of them other people. Ask him, where was his Minister of National Security?
Mr. Rattigan, can the Minister...
Hold on a second, brother. Last December, he came again. He didn't come with the police commissioner as he did in 2022. He came with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, my favorite minister. Right? To do what? To talk about national security again. Where is the Minister of National Security? Where is the money for national security? Where are the resources provided? Where? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm asking you, can the Minister of National Security travel, sir? You have any idea? If Jamaica's Minister of National Security, Deputy Prime Minister, Deputy Minister of Defense, you have an idea, Mr. Rattigan, can the Minister of National Security travel? Jamaica's Minister of National Security.
Well, let me just say it to you like this. If I buy my ticket in my phone, well, Minister, I will personally buy you the ticket. But here's the thing with the Minister of National Security. He was here once in the last 6 years or so, I believe. But why would you, as Minister of National Security, not travel to discuss issues regarding national security? When every time we hear the Prime Minister travel, that topic is paramount in importance. It's on the list. It's always national security. So where's the Minister of National Security? Well, let me just say it to you like this. If I were in his position, based on the WikiLeaks revelation, I would be afraid, because in America they have something called a sealed indictment. And they will just have that and wait for you. And they will make you travel a couple of times, and then at the appropriate moment, they'll give you a pair of jewelry. And then they become a guest of the government. And so that may very well be the case. I don't know, but all right, well, look, we have another speaker, so we're not going to wait no, there. Who will give me there? We don't know. And we might come back and grab the mic, you know, because like my mother, we never see a mic, but we never like it. So, but anyway, who are in this thing with a little chant? Go ahead and lead us into chant, my brother. Give me a chant.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Call to action. Call to action. Call to action. Call to action. Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? No justice. No peace.
Thank you, sir.
That was Wilfred Rattigan. I think
ladies and gentlemen of
one moment,
producer Wayne Global
we'll have
TV.
Dr. Francis introduce this lovely lady here.
Doctor, that was Wilfred Radigan.
Yes, man.
With that spirited.
People are coming. I really appreciate everybody who come. People are coming. They're coming.
We now have.
Everybody now. The people are coming. Jamaica always late. Always late. People are going to be here for sure.
They're here and they're listening. And most importantly, the council is listening. And they're listening behind the council. Where? In Jamaica.
Yes.
And that's where the message is going. But
We now have Dr. Rupert Francis introducing
you to the daughter of a friend of mine who was in the military with me. His name is Glenn Webley, and this is young Webley, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, Webley.
Member of Parliament, yes, I am telling you, this is her. And she look like him, can't done. Take it from me. Him not. So I want you to understand, this is history. She could not believe it when I told her. Yes. So I took out a small picture of me when I was younger to show I was handsome at that time. So it's not only the Prime Minister handsome and me handsome.
All right, Dr. G.
If you want to get me in trouble, you're going to get me in trouble, but you're not getting me in trouble today.
No, Dr. Francis, we're not getting in trouble.
I tell you, I have the pleasure to introduce a product of Jamaica in person and a good-looking person. Would you want to say a few words?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, family.
Welcome,
I am
family.
based in Italy now. I am a part of the diaspora just like you, but it's God that work it out that I'm here in Florida this weekend for the first of the protest.
Yes.
I come with my own sign. I'm glad to see that the diaspora, the diaspora group is organized enough and we're out here with signs for anybody that wants to come down. But I come with my own sign because this is a message that is not today we start talking. I know yesterday we start feel it. There is nothing wrong with Jamaica that cannot be fixed by Jamaicans. Believe me. There is nothing wrong with Jamaica that cannot and will not be fixed by Jamaica. Now, the fact that more than twice the amount of Jamaicans in Jamaica is outside of Jamaica means that we would be stupid as a Jamaican family to ignore the diaspora. Am I correct? So I have a sign here. It says something very simple. Forget my face. Because what you need to remember is that the diaspora is the difference.
Yes, sir.
Diaspora is the difference. The diaspora will not be intimidated.
No.
The diaspora cannot be paid off, cannot be bought.
No.
They're not in fear for their jobs, they're not in fear for their lives, and this is the reason why they're making the choices for Jamaica.
Yes.
So Jamaicans who are listening to this, understand that it's not a us against you, it's one Jamaica. It's a us for you. It's a us supporting you. If you thought that the barrel was big, this is so much better. Because any gifts and things that we send down, that is one thing. But when we're actually able to make the changes in Jamaica that make it possible for you as a Jamaican living in Jamaica to do better for yourself, to not have to leave your country to move forward because there is no upward mobility without links. When we set up a kind of Jamaica where every Jamaican is truly an equal citizen, that is when the thing gets different. That is when there's actually a chance for change. I leave Jamaica because of how much women getting killed there all the time. I'm not saying women not getting killed everywhere around the world, but it just felt super close. And there starts to become a time where you feel like your success will make you a target sometimes in Jamaica. And it's not because we're not good people, but because of the lack of opportunities in Jamaica. I'm saying all of that. I really only came here today to support, to share my sign. I never know that there was even all of this in me to say. But as someone who has been sitting at my computer, watching these gentlemen, watching Meku Talk, watching Jamaica and Josh, I found out where this was because of your show. I want to really encourage you. I want to really thank you for the stepping forward. We know that it's not just a vanity thing. As Mr. Ratzigan has said, he's literally facing threats against his life. So we understand. We understand the depth of love that you have to have for Jamaica to even put yourself out there and step forward. And because you step forward, I feel that I will step forward. I'm not a political person, but I'm a Jamaican. Yes. When you say one Jamaica, I've been with Jamaica once, and it hurt my heart to see how Jamaica stay and to see that people
people can work as hard as they can and still not get ahead because of the issues of corruption that we're dealing with. To see a superhero, basically like Usain Bolt, get on the internet basically balling because the people them teeth with this money. All of these things, and we're just so quiet. How Jamaica? Remember that once we were warriors. How Jamaica? Are you all so silent? And I'm not trying to judge. What I'm doing is stepping out here with these gentlemen and following their lead. So that's all we can do. We are the diaspora. We can hopefully make a difference if our voice is heard. All Jamaicans for Jamaica. That's all?
Yes, man.
It's not us against them. It's not diaspora against the locals. We are for Jamaica. One Jamaica. Give thanks. I am here all day trying to support, and like many people in the diaspora wanting to give back to Jamaica. In terms of culture, the arts, music, cannabis, there are many things international that we want to see happen for Jamaica. That's not happening yet, you know. There are countries like Dubai where the oil makes money for all of their countries. Their citizens don't pay electricity bill. They don't do all of these things because their national resources take care of their people. And that could be the case for Jamaica as well. Absolutely. To manage our resources properly. Yes. We're a paradise and they turned it into a pressure cooker. And we cannot allow that to happen. Oh, I never had much to say, so that's the end. But I have to give thanks so much. Well said.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, man, yes, sir. A chip never falls far from the block. She is absolutely correct, and she's wonderful, and she has a future for her. You know, a future. Let's put it even at that, right? Yes. And I'm going to tell you something. What we must do is to encourage the young people because they are the future. Yes. It would appear that some people don't believe that. And they're listening and what have you. I hope it does come home to them that they cannot run the diaspora or run away the diaspora and give fear to the diaspora. No. We are going to be here and we're going to advocate on behalf of the people of Jamaica and those born and yet unborn. And that's the whole idea. There's a transition. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not for left or we're not for right. No. We are for the country of Jamaica, land we love. All right, you're next. Who's going to be up next? Who's Jamaica?
We're coming
Who's
to
Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? No justice. No justice. Action. 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 Whose place? Whose place? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Action.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak to somebody who is no stranger to us. I'm going to put you on the spot. Former member of the Jamaica Labour Party, a former member of the People's National Party. Still a member of the People's National Party. Miss Joan Gordon Webley. Welcome to the microphone program.
Miss Joan Gordon Webley is here.
We have Miss Joan Gordon Webley here supporting us.
I'm not putting you on the spot.
Producer Wayne, me there, big up for yourself in England. No love.
That was Jamaican Carlos, if you all didn't recognize the voice.
Talk as a Jamaican. A Jamaican who is in Jamaica.
This is Miss Gordon Webley being interviewed by Jeffrey Tavares from the Equity Talk radio program.
As a Jamaican, and I know that's with you because I know you a long time now. Your views on what is going on here today and what is going on in Jamaica?
Too long. It has taken too long to come into being. Facts are that I love what is happening. My daughter that just spoke asked me to accompany her, and I would not have not been here. I must have been here because it has taken too long. The facts are we have to look up to the diaspora. The diaspora is the second hugest foreign exchange money giver to Jamaica. So you must have a word. You must have a say. I am heartbroken because I tried to get my daughter to enter politics and she had says absolutely not. It is too corrupt. She doesn't want anything to do with it. And I thought to myself, but you are Jamaica. If it is that you believe it is too corrupt, Why are you not putting yourself forward? Because you can't leave it for someone else. This is your country. It isn't anybody else's country. I could have opted to come and live in the US, but it is not for me. I want to live in Jamaica constantly. And so I want to see a Jamaica that is going to serve Jamaicans. And I am feeling good to see you out here today. And I'm here for a family event, but I had to make this my first stop because when I see Jamaicans wanting to do something for Jamaica, count me in. I am very upset about what is happening. I see the signs and I thought to myself, months now, over 6 months, an integrity commission report has come to the House of Parliament. It is supposed to be laid on the House of Parliament. Yep. And today's date, it is being shrouded in secrecy. No one knows who are those persons who are supposed to be exposed. And so we are moving to an area where we are being kept in the dark. You have a husband who is the prime minister and a wife who is in charge of the House of Representatives.
Is it that Mr. Conway? The Make We Talk program is asking you now, as a Jamaican and a former parliamentarian, isn't that a conflict of interest? Go ahead.
To me, it looks like that.
Yes.
But I am saying, why are Jamaicans not insisting that this happens? Why? You call a meeting and you call Jamaicans to action. And you can count on your hand, one hand, the amount of Jamaicans that turn up to action. Ask yourself something. If you allow it to happen, it will happen. A small amount of people are in the House of Representatives. Cannot allow it to happen if Jamaicans does not allow it to happen.
So what you're saying, Mrs. Webley, that Jamaicans at home must stand up for Jamaica because of what is going on in the Parliament of Jamaica at the moment?
Their silence is the cause of what is happening. Their silence is the cause of what is happening. If you do not stand up, people will walk all over you. This is your Jamaica. It does not belong to the few that is inside of the House of Representatives. But they won't stand up. Everyone speaks on their veranda and never step outside. We don't business with politics. Politics runs the world. So you have to business with it. Politics spends your taxpayers' money. So you have to get involved with it. And it is because we don't why politicians believe that they can do anything they can. Because of your silence.
Let me ask you this question. Yesterday we got news that a prominent attorney was assassinated in Jamaica in her car on her way to work on the boulevard. Yet the Prime Minister is saying that crime is going down and members of the diaspora, including myself, Wilfred Radigan and others, are bringing down Jamaica and talking about the negative of Jamaica. Your views on the crime and situations going on in our country?
It cannot be worse. And I am not just speaking about an attorney that got assassinated yesterday. I saw a sign that spoke to state of emergency.
Yes, it's somewhere around.
Who is being locked up in the state of emergency?
The
poor?
Yes.
The despondent?
People who live below crossroads.
I know someone, a young man who was locked up in the state of emergency many years ago, who became mad because he was thrown into prison and he was shifted from police station to police station. Mother couldn't find him. And by the time he was found, he had gone mad. Why? Because he was scraped up in a batch of people and was just being brought here, there, and everywhere. And you can't sue the government when there's a state of emergency. And so when you fester, when you cause that to fester amongst the poor, we are creating a bag of people who have no heart because we are not displaying a heart to them either. And so it can't be just about those bad men. They're going to prison. There is no rehabilitation. You will have someone who going to prison for a minor crime and he's thrown beside someone who is a real baddie. So he comes out of that area and he's in Hanover, he's in Westmoreland, he's all over. And he builds crime. We have got to start from scratch. It can't be just about those who are bad in the lockdown. You have to have the programs to deal with the young people from the base to be able to get out desired people to live in the country.
We are 61 years old, a country that is well renowned around the world of land of wood and water and reggae music. Yet majority of our Jamaican people at 61 years old don't have water in their pipes. The people of St. Elizabeth, the breadbasket parish, I know for a fact, the majority of them don't have water to walk to the crops. Mrs. Webley, what do you think at 61 years old have the people gained from the government of Jamaica about the pain for the jail?
I want to be perfectly fair.
Yes.
A lot has been done. We have nice big roads. But at the same time, enough has not been done where the poor is concerned. I, for one, I plant coffee. In one, not so many years ago, we used to get, $14,000 a box for the coffee. Another administration came in, and the coffee went down to as low as 2,500 a box of coffee. Blue Mountain coffee. I went to Italy the other day, and I saw the urns that the coffees kept in, and there was hardly any there. And I said to him, why is there not enough Blue Mountain coffee here? He says, because as it comes, it goes. It is the best in the world. Yet, the Jamaican farmer can't live because of the price they get. But there are big companies that is living big off the house. Poor man's sweat is not for him to live. Something has got to be done with the leadership that we now have.
And I'm gonna let you go because I know you didn't come here to speak to Jeffrey in the Make It Talk program. And because I saw you and I know you very well and I know you're gonna come over to you and you're gonna tell me yes. Anyway. Mrs. Webley, the country of Jamaica. I grew up in Negril. It's yours. I grew up in Negril. I grew up in Negril. And I remember back in the days growing up in Negril, they used to have the best marijuana. Orange Hill, Mount Terry, and those places. Do you believe that the government of Jamaica right now is dragging their foot to legalize marijuana in the country?
Well, I ought not to speak on that.
Okay.
But this little young lady, she's the one who has worked in the Mirage. She's a lawyer by profession.
Yeah. But I started at Tokyo, the second ganja company in Jamaica.
So
please let me answer you on that. It's like God send you again. Do you know that the government of Jamaica keeps on consulting with the people, and consultation, just frustration, but no action? The industry has said to the government, we have consulted with 3 different ministers, and we have made recommendations for what should happen to really see benefit for Jamaica. Because you're correct, no, Jamaica is not truly benefiting from cannabis output. We have sent the recommendations. I chair the committee. I chair the public education and capacity building committee of the cannabis for this present government. And after we met for 1 year virtually, people gave their time freely. People in the industry, every ministry was consulted, and we came up with a paper of recommendations, and it has not yet been tabled in the same parliament. That was 2 years ago. So there is a comprehensive report from all the consultation. I led a committee. There was the economics committee. They were looking at all the different aspects of it. How do we really benefit instead of just making it so the rich keep getting richer? Because that's what's happening in the current cannabis industry. The recommendations have been made. The government refuses to do any action. I have actually I have stepped out of that business, and I've suggested even to the people in business that they should sue the government, because what they've done is to set up an industry that is untenable. It's a situation that cannot work. How can you have an industry but they can't take their money to the bank? How can you? Who invests in that kind of an industry? No one. Only foreigners, and so that's why it's not Jamaicans benefiting.
Is it because of the laws in America, where America is saying that if you're applying ganja, you still can't go to the American banking system and lodge your money?
Absolutely.
Is it because of that why Jamaica hasn't legalized ganja? You have an idea?
Absolutely. We're not trying to be naive and pretend that the international pressures that the American banking systems exert hasn't been enough to cripple our government. But that's not new. That's from the 90s when the first report came out telling them to legalize it. You remember shortly after America said we'll have to look at them differently in monetary lending.
Right.
So America has always been using this big stick to kind of stop us from really developing ourselves through cannabis. But the fact remains that even outside of those pressures, there's enough things wrong with what's been happening there and enough changes that can be made that aren't being made. When you look at a country like Canada, who has boldly stepped forward and legalized recreationally, we can now point to them. And we don't only have to work with America, God bless you, America, but there are other banking systems that we can work with as Jamaicans in order to continue to progress ourselves. Because one thing is for sure, and two things for certain, America is not interested in Jamaica's economic development. That is something that I think we all know as a reality right now. You know, when I was growing up, those were rumors. And I used to think it was crazy. As a child growing up in the 90s, oh, you mean CIA there, Jamaica? That don't make no sense. That is foolishness. This is a little island. But now things are declassified and you see, yeah, really, our government was destabilized. There were actually conscious efforts made to turn Jamaica on its head and put us into the situation we are right now. And unless our people understand that, and what you say, without knowledge of your history, is like a tree without roots and a mistakes and a garden. These are facts. We have to really look at where we are coming from to understand how we can get where we want to go. And you're 100% correct. Jamaica's cannabis could be benefiting the entire country. Healthcare, all of the programs for the youth that you're talking about developing. That's why I got into the business. I never know nothing about ganja business, but I was running a community, a creative art space, developing youth, putting young unknowns such as Kabaka Pyramid or Chronics at the time, unknown people developing the arts, because that's what you need in a country like that where you don't have opportunity, but talented. That's what Jamaica's oil is, the talent, the music, and if you can develop those programs and finance it through the cannabis, the solutions are there. The solutions are there. There's so much that can be done with the cannabis. I've written papers about this. I have consulted with the government. It's enough to drive you crazy because, again, Jamaica should never be in this position. Who have coffee like we? Who have ganja like we? Who have tune like we? And still broke like we? Culture like we and broke like we? That don't make sense.
And that note, I just want to tell you thanks for coming on. I want you to what is your for the young people who are coming up in our country, who well-known Jamaican senator, the youngest senator in Jamaica's history, Gabriel Amaris, said that the Jamaican young people
are apathetic.
Yes, and they're fed up of what is going on. As a young lawyer, a young Jamaican, the daughter of a Jamaican politician who has served our country and served our people, what would you tell the young people who's coming up now? Your views, your advice to them?
Get educated. Get educated and get involved however you can. The truth of it is that politicians' children going into politics is another one of the problems that we have in Jamaica. Let's be real. You know, I don't think that it's only as a political representative that you can make a change. This is an ongoing conversation. If not today, she's telling me to do more. But I have always stood fast to the fact that from the minute you put on a t-shirt, whatever color it is, you have just blocked yourself off the half of the country. And that's the problem. At any given time, half of Jamaica is fighting Jamaica because of these stupid t-shirts.
Well, they dubbed me as a member of the Labour Party, and also they're dubbing me now as a member of the People's National Party, and I'm a dirty comrade.
You understand? And then you see when Jamaicans travel and they get out in the world and you realize how the world's big and you realize that Jamaica is, although we're so incredible, we really are this small and it really isn't that hard to organize the politics of a country if you really want to do it.
Yes.
You start to understand that it's this whole distraction. I said to my mom all the time, these aren't political parties, these are private parties now.
Yes.
It's coming like a session and it's just the hype and the headline and the this, but what is actually going on in the country?
As what Jerry Small said, that Jamaica has 2 gangs. They start from the Parliament of Jamaica. Thank you very much. And on that note, I'm going to switch over back to your mother. Mrs. Webley, please tell the Jamaican people, your advice to the young people of Jamaica, your advice to Jamaican voters, your advice to the government of Jamaica, as a Jamaican and as a politician. What would you say to them?
I would say to them that we have the best of us and we have the worst of us.
We have the best of us.
There is no doubt how great we are as a nation. Every place you go in this world, you hear Jamaica. You hear Jamaica. And it has not just started. We have orchestra. We have all the music. We have done so much. When are we going to understand that we have to look after Jamaica for Jamaica? When are we going to understand that we have to be people first before the politics? People first. And whenever we start to understand that we are supposed to be working as a family for each other, we're going to be able to do better for one another.
And on that note, Mrs. Joan Gordon Webley, a former member of the Jamaica Labour Party, a current member of the People's National Party, but forget about politics, a Jamaican by birth.
Jamaican first. And I am one of those who speak my mind. I do not allow a color to manipulate what I say. I will look at the policies, and I believe that these policies are better than those policies. But I speak my mind.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Joan Gordon Webley. Thank you for coming to the Make It Talk program. And don't be a stranger now to the Make It Talk program or any other program. You know. Thank you so much. Before you go, say something else. I want to say thanks to everyone who's watching us. Remember to like and subscribe to the Make It Talk Triple Virus channel.
This is Debbie Jervis reporting for Producer Wayne Global TV here at the Call to Action protest at the Jamaican Consulate in downtown Miami.
Thank you all very much for watching. We're coming to you live from the Jamaican Consulate here in downtown Miami, where we have a protest organized by Dr. Wilford Francis.
This is the Call to Action protest. Yeah, here. This is our protest. We have people from the diaspora from everywhere. We are in front of the Jamaican Consulate at 44 West Flagler Street in Miami.
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica? Who's Jamaica?
We are here giving our participants in our protest. May I bother you and ask you a few questions? My name is Debbie Jervis. I am reporting for Producer Wayne Global TV out of England.
Okay.
And yes, UK is here on the ground. Just want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this auspicious occasion? History in the making. Give us your thoughts.
I think this will be a turning point.
Yes.
Those of us who are in the diaspora, and those of us at home, look at politics in the future. I think it will give our young people a reason to want to be engaged in politics. Too often we have been dismissed, so those of the diaspora, dismissed as barrel senders.
Yes.
We support our family back home. We support everybody back home, even friends and families, our churches. I send things home on a regular basis, and it costs them more to get it off the wharf than what's in the barracks.
Right.
And they're saying, and I'm saying, what are our ports owned by foreign investors? Our airport, our seaport, and every other port that we have is controlled by foreigners.
Yes.
They set the price, we have to pay the cost. And then when we let people to make sure that everything is leveraged on a level, it does nothing. And they become rich. Overnight, they become multi-millionaires. They have the biggest houses. They have,
Most expensive.
and they can account for their income. And every individual know that when you make certain amount of money per annum, after you do all your expenditures, your savings shouldn't be that high. It's impossible because the cost of living eat up most of regular people income. But when you have $120 million house and your salaries, when you have $800 million venture and your income is, where's that money coming from? And then when you begin to urge people to get their land so that you can do your construction, and then you take them to court and they don't have the resources to fight you in court because the people who control the court are your people. The lawyers are too corrupt. It's like big pharmaceutical. You go to your doctor, you say you're sick, you give them medication, but it have 20 side effects. So this medicine is bad for your heart, it's bad for your liver, it's bad for your lungs, but you need to take it. It's irrational. So let me stay sick because I don't want the. It's humorous, but the side effects are worse than the primary cause. So the pharmaceuticals are making money off sickness. The doctors are making money off sickness because I said to people in the 50s, we have two illnesses, polio and regular cough. 50 years later, I mean, you can count the amount of illnesses that are in the market. And the medicines are there. Exorbitant. And if you have insurance, if you're a working person in America and you don't have insurance, you don't go to the doctor. Because if you save $10,000, one visit can wipe out all your savings. So you have to have insurance. And I said to people in Jamaica, if you reach certain age, don't come to America if you pass it. Because since if you're not going to put into the social security, you are in trouble. Because you can't get medical insurance. And when you're sick, you realize what capitalism is. It's not health, health being healthy, it's money. It's what it is, capitalism. So thank you for being here.
What part of Jamaica?
I'm from St. James.
St. James, awesome. St. James in the house, y'all. Thank you very much.
Right in the city of Montego.
It's true. We don't care what politics happens, how we change. That's true. But the end of it, that's even
Producer Wayne, we're at a breaking point. We're taking a break. So I will sign off for now. And when we are back in action, I will come back on live. And I hope you can hear me and hear me well. I'll try to get
I
as
am
many.
I am hearing you, Debbie Jervis. Can you hear me? Debbie Jervis, I am hearing you. Can you hear me?
For now. Be back in a few.
Can you hear me, Debbie? Debbie Jervis. Okay, Debbie Jervis, they have signed off for now. Thank you all very much for joining us today. I will keep the link and I will keep communication with them. And when they are back on, I might possibly come on and give you further coverage. But I want to thank Debbie Jervis for giving us an amazing coverage this afternoon. And I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you who has been here with me for the last 3 hours. You know, this is an awfully long time for me. But I want to thank you all. Nicola, good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon, Ivan O'Connor. Good afternoon and welcome. Patrick Godfrey, good afternoon and welcome. Mimi, good afternoon and welcome. Carl Thomas, good afternoon and welcome. Audrey James, good afternoon on Facebook and welcome. To those who came on live, you can watch the first part of the live where we were discussing the arrest of Julian Silvera and what Mark Golden didn't do, what he could have done, and what he should now do. We want to say to you, thank you all very much for being here with us this evening. And if it is permitted, we will certainly come back. We will certainly come back to give you further update. But for now, we are saying goodbye from Global TV. I hope you have enjoyed today's program, and we will return later. We're also keeping our eyes on the news to see what charges will be laid against Julian Silvera. So we will definitely come back to you later. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. One sec. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and we hope to see you a bit later. Thank you all very much, and good afternoon. We will see you later. Goodbye.